Hello there guys, going to do another video for you today of how you can get involved in Formula G and a bit of a walk around on my car. So as you guys already know, my car's a MX-5 Mark 1. It's an import from Japan, so it's got the slightly more powerful engine, but we have put a turbo on there to keep up with the bigger boys and the faster cars. Today I'm just going to show you all the little bits you need on the car really to help you enter, and the more advanced parts you can get as well. So one of the main things you need on your car, if you've got a soft top or convertible like myself, you can't use a hard top bolt-on. You need a roll bar or roll cage. My one here I've got is a Cusco 6-point dash dodger. Obviously it's not the best cage in the world, but it works for what I need it for. It's not FIA legal or MSA legal or anything like that, but it will hopefully save my life if I do roll. Obviously things like that aren't really going to happen in GYMKHANA events, but anything can happen. Like if another car's tyre comes across your track and you roll over, drive into it, there is a chance that you could roll and end up on your roof. Next thing you really need while you're in the car as well is a hydraulic handbrake. So here's mine just here. It is a eBay, essentially an eBay kit. The only thing I've changed is a Wilwood 0.625 master cylinder, and then I've got my Hell Performance lines, and then Hell Performance line lock as well for when I do events like Coventry Motorfest, etc. This one's just a spare, an old one I got on the car at the moment. It needs to be changed. Another feature what is in the rule box is a isolation switch. So this one controls the power to the whole car from the battery, cuts all my fuel, everything like that. So in emergency, kill that, cuts the whole power to the car. Also a good upgrade is to have a bucket seat in your car. So I've got a cheap Sparco Sprint bucket seat and some 4-inch belts. These are great to have in the car, stop you sliding around. They're not essentially needed. You can use your factory OEM seats and seat belts, but you probably will slide around in them a bit due to the nature of the sport. So I would highly recommend seats and harnesses. One other thing you need to have in the car and accessible to the driver at all times is at least a 1 kilogram fire extinguisher. You should be able to reach this with having your belts on. Obviously if you can't, have it as close as you can, just in case there is a fire of some sort, and not always Marshall's going to be close to fire extinguishers, so it's always good for you to have it in your car to save your own car. Tyres are obviously also a key point. They must be E-marked. They can be a semi-slick tyre like I run. I currently run the Zestino Greg 07 RS tyre. It is honestly probably the best tyre I've ever driven on. Miles better than what Toyo tyres can offer, what Nankang can offer. I know these are a lot faster than the Nankang NS2R 100 compound because I used to drive on those, and these are over a second quicker on the old barrel sprints what used to exist. You work a little bit. Rear bumpers are not mandatory. I do not run one, as you can see here, because I run my jacking bar, also known as a crash bar. This slightly sticks out further than the OEM bumper on an MX-5. But it's perfect for jacking the car up. Slide your jack underneath, give it 2 pumps, and both rear wheels are in the air, ready to change quickly if you need to. Really good piece of equipment this. I don't see why more cars don't run something like this, whether it's an MX-5 like mine or an S-body or a BMW, whatever you want to run. But this is an FPM garage jacking bar, one of the first 2 ever made. I've got the second one. Best thing ever for the back of the car. Bodywork on the car's got to look professional. You can have a rattle-canned car as long as it's smooth and all in one colour. It really helps you look good in the sport, looks good for the television cameras, and if you're into your marketing and sponsorships, these really do help make the car look a lot better, and it will help you gain some more sponsors if your car's clean and presentable. Engine modifications are open. Here you see I've got a TD04 turbo powered MX-5. Not the cleanest of engine bays, but it does the job. The car's fairly quick. Not the quickest car on the grid, but it does keep up with most of the S-bodies around the tight technical parts of the track. As you can see here, chassis modifications are allowed to be made. You cannot move the bulkhead, you cannot move the strut towers. As you can see here, I'm running the tubular front end to help with airflow and ease of working on the car. This was made by Japs Motorsport, and again, really essential part to my car, but not also needed. Battery locations are free to move around the vehicle as long as they are safe and secure and they're not going to move. So mine is just behind my driver's seat. This did conform to the 2018 regulations, but for 2019 we've been made aware that the terminals do have to be covered. I've got one covered, one not, but you can simply just run some electrical tape over them just to stop cans like WD-40 or anything if you do have in your car from arcing out on them. The car does have to be empty at all times. Only the driver's equipment is needed. I do run a passenger seat, which you can see here, just when I do taxis and demos and stuff like that. You can have it in there, but as long as you've got nothing rolling around inside the car. So that really wraps up my car, guys. Obviously there's stuff you can't see easily, like my Meister R club race suspension, my Destroy or Die hubs, the Super Knuckles in fact as they're called. Run them on the front of the car. Going to be testing some rear ones soon, very hopefully, as long as they're lower control arms for the front of the vehicle. That's the car really in a nutshell. It's not OTT. It's a pretty simple build. It's a pretty cheap build as well. You can turn up in a completely stock car. I've actually been beaten in barrel sprints by some stock cars, just because in the wet I can't always put the power down as I wish due to me running the wrong setup. But again, that's just me down to experience. You can build a car very, very cheap. Just stick a hydraulic handbrake in. It's slightly better than an OEM one. Try and come on some semi-slick tyres. You can just turn up on normal tyres if you wish. Any rules, regulations I'm talking about today are for 2018. Obviously 2018 season's over now, so we're just waiting for the rules to be finalised. But from what I've been told from Fueltopia and the Formula G guys is they're not really going to change that much. But the Formula G website is being made as we speak, and all the rules and regulations, what you'll need, will be on there. Any issues, you want to build a car, speak to the guys at Fueltopia. They're more than happy to help you out. Message myself if you want some advice, or any other driver on the grid. Everyone's really, really friendly. Give them a day or two to reply, because I'm sure they're probably busy. But it is honestly the best series I've ever raced in, including my karting career and stuff like that. Get involved, it's really cheap, and have fun.